What if I told you right now sitting inside your pocket change could be a coin so powerful, so rare that it could rewrite your fortune overnight? These are not just old pieces of metal. These are silent treasures born decades ago, now worth more than luxury collections hidden behind scratches, patina, and forgotten mint marks. Today, we're opening a vault most people don't even know exists. The Sacagawea Dollar Susan B. Anthony $1 wheat penny secrets. The coins that once jingled in a kid's hand, now shaking the very foundations of the collector's market in America. Every coin you'll see today carries a story of war, pride, and mystery, and a hidden value that could change your life in an instant. So tighten your seatbelt, coin hunters, because by the end of this video, you might just start checking every single penny and Sacagawea and Anthony dollar you own. This is Coinks USA, and today we're revealing the 3 coins ever discovered. Stay tuned till the end because coin number 1 is something the world thought was gone forever, but one recently resurfaced in a dusty collection, and its price at the latest auction left even the experts speechless. Coin number 1. Design features, rare errors and varieties, and how to identify valuable examples. Now it's time to look beyond the date and discover what truly separates an ordinary 2001p Sacagawea dollar from one that collectors eagerly pursue. At first glance, every 2001p Sacagawea dollar seems nearly identical. The warm golden color catches the light, the portrait appears crisp, and the soaring eagle on the reverse gives the coin a powerful sense of movement. To most people, that's where the story ends. But experienced collectors know the real story begins only after the coin is examined carefully under proper lighting and magnification. The obverse features Sacagawea carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste, on her back. Sculptor Glenna Goodacre created a portrait that is both graceful and symbolic, representing courage, exploration, and the vital role Sacagawea played during the Lewis and Clark expedition. Her facial features display remarkable softness, while the folds of her clothing create depth rarely seen on circulating United States coins. Around the upper edge appears the word Liberty, while the year 2001 is positioned to the right of the portrait. Unlike earlier American dollar coins, the date, mint mark, and inscriptions work together to produce a balanced, uncluttered design. Look closely near the date, and you'll find the P mint mark, indicating the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This tiny letter is easy to overlook, yet it immediately tells collectors where the coin was produced. Millions of examples were struck there during 2001, but only a very small percentage survived with flawless surfaces and razor-sharp details. That's why condition matters so much. A heavily circulated coin may be worth only face value, while a pristine mint state example certified by a respected grading service can command a significant premium. Turn the coin over, and the reverse reveals one of the most elegant modern American coin designs. A soaring eagle dominates the center, wings fully extended as it glides across an open sky. The feathers display impressive detail, from the powerful wing structure to the carefully engraved tail feathers. Around the eagle are 17 stars, representing the states of the Union at the time of the Lewis and Clark expedition. The inscriptions, United States of America, $1, and EPLUOBUSUNUM, complete the design, creating a reverse that is both symbolic and visually striking. The coin weighs 8.1 grams, measures 26.5 millimeters in diameter, and has a smooth edge. Although many people refer to it as a gold dollar, it contains no actual gold. Instead, it is struck on a manganese brass-clad planchet composed of a pure copper core with outer layers containing copper, manganese, nickel, and zinc. This alloy produces the distinctive golden appearance while remaining durable enough for circulation. But here's where things get interesting. Most collectors don't become excited about ordinary examples. They search for the unexpected, the coins that escape the mint with unusual characteristics created during the manufacturing process. These genuine mint errors are what transform common dollars into remarkable collectibles. One of the most desirable categories is the double die. During die production, if the hub impresses the design more than once in slightly different positions, noticeable doubling can appear on the finished coins. On authentic double die varieties, Collectors often inspect the lettering, date, and portions of the portrait for clear separation, rather than simple machine doubling. Genuine doubled dies are significantly scarcer than ordinary coins and attract strong collector attention. Another fascinating variety involves die chips and retained die breaks. As working dies wear over time, tiny pieces of hardened steel can fracture away. Coins struck afterward display raised lumps or unusual metal formations in consistent locations. While many die chips are minor, larger retained breaks become especially collectible because they document the gradual failure of the die itself. Die cracks are equally intriguing. These appear as thin raised lines across the surface of the coin and occur when the die begins to crack under repeated striking pressure. Some die cracks remain tiny and subtle, while others expand into dramatic features extending through the lettering, portrait, or eagle. Collectors often enjoy tracing these progressive die states because each stage tells part of the die's life story. Off-center strikes represent another dramatic error. When the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned before striking, part of the design is missing while the remaining image shifts toward one side. Moderate off-center errors that still display the full date are especially desirable because they are visually dramatic while remaining identifiable. Broad strikes occur when the retaining collar fails during striking. Without the collar to contain the expanding metal, the coin spreads outward beyond its normal diameter while preserving most of its design. These errors are immediately recognizable and remain popular among modern era specialists. Perhaps the most spectacular errors involve wrong planchets. On extremely rare occasions, a Sacagawea dollar design is struck on a blank intended for another denomination. Because the incorrect metal changes both weight and appearance, these errors receive intense scrutiny from authentication experts. Genuine wrong planchet strikes are rare and can sell for substantial premiums when certified. Most people never notice this. Many forms of damage imitate mint errors. Coins that have been squeezed in a vise, exposed to heat, altered by tools, or damaged in machinery often resemble genuine mint mistakes. Experienced collectors always distinguish between post-mint damage and authentic production errors because only true mint errors command significant collector premiums. This tiny detail could change everything. Before assuming you've discovered a valuable variety, examine the surfaces carefully. Authentic mint luster flows evenly across the coin in a cartwheel pattern when rotated beneath a light. Artificial polishing, cleaning, or chemical treatment disrupts this original surface. Even a rare variety can lose much of its collector appeal if the original finish has been damaged. The best way to evaluate a 2001 Sacagawea dollar is with a quality magnifying glass providing 5 to 10 power magnification under bright white lighting. Inspect the date, mint mark, lettering, portrait, eagle, and stars. Compare suspected varieties with verified photographs published by respected numismatic organizations. If your coin appears genuinely unusual, professional authentication is the safest next step. And the surprises don't end there. Some of the highest valued 2001 Sacagawea dollars owe their extraordinary prices not to dramatic mint errors, but to their astonishing state of preservation. In the next section, we'll uncover record-breaking auction results, why elite condition examples spark bidding wars, and reveal how seemingly ordinary coins have sold for astonishing amounts that left even seasoned collectors amazed. Next. Stop whatever you're doing for just a moment, because the dollar coin sitting forgotten in your change jar could be hiding a story that very few people know. Thousands of Americans have spent these coins without a second thought. Some tossed them into dresser drawers. Others left them untouched inside old piggy banks or inherited collections, assuming they were nothing more than odd-looking pocket change. But what if one of those ordinary-looking dollar coins was actually worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars to the right collector? It sounds unbelievable, yet stories like these continue to surface throughout the numismatic world. Coins that once bought a cup of coffee have appeared at auctions decades later, attracting fierce bidding from collectors determined to own the finest or rarest examples. The Susan B. Anthony dollar has long been misunderstood. It was criticized when it entered circulation, confused with the quarter because of its similar size, and largely rejected by the public. Yet time has transformed this once-overlooked coin into one of the most fascinating modern collectibles in American numismatics. But here's where things get interesting. Among the millions of ordinary 1979p Susan B. Anthony dollars are rare varieties, remarkable mint errors, and extraordinary high-grade examples that have stunned collectors with astonishing prices. Most people never notice this because they assume every Susan B. Anthony dollar is exactly the same. That tiny assumption could cause someone to spend a genuinely valuable coin without ever realizing what they had. Today, we're uncovering the secrets behind the famous 1979p Susan B. Anthony dollar, exploring why collectors continue searching for it decades after its release, and revealing how one small detail could change everything. The Susan B. Anthony dollar holds a unique place in United States history. Released in 1979, it became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual American woman rather than an allegorical figure such as Liberty. The decision honored Susan B. Anthony, one of the nation's most influential leaders in the women's suffrage movement. Her lifelong campaign for equal voting rights eventually helped shape American democracy, making her selection for the nation's new dollar coin historically significant. Expectations were enormous. The United States Mint hoped Americans would embrace the smaller dollar coin and gradually replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar. Instead, the public reacted quite differently. Because the new coin measured only slightly larger than a quarter and shared a similar color, many people confused the two denominations. Businesses, banks, and consumers quickly became frustrated. Production slowed dramatically after the initial years, and the coin disappeared from everyday circulation much sooner than officials had expected. Ironically, that lack of popularity is exactly what fuels collector interest today. The 1979p Susan B. Anthony dollar was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small P mint mark located just above Anthony's left shoulder on the obverse. This was also one of the first circulating United States coins to display the Philadelphia Mint mark, making it historically important beyond its design alone. Millions were produced, but survival in exceptional condition tells a very different story. While circulated examples remain common, pristine mint state coins with original luster and flawless surfaces become increasingly scarce as grades climb higher. Registry set collectors compete fiercely for the very finest certified examples because only a limited number have achieved the highest numerical grades assigned by professional grading services. The coin itself measures 26.5 millimeters in diameter, weighs 8.1 grams, and features a copper core clad with outer layers of copper nickel, giving it the familiar silver-colored appearance many Americans recognize. Although many people casually describe it as a silver dollar, no regular circulation strike 1979p Susan B. Anthony dollar contains silver. That misunderstanding remains one of the biggest myths surrounding the series. Genuine circulation coins contain no precious metal, yet that doesn't prevent some of them from becoming remarkably valuable, because rarity is often determined by condition, mint errors, and collector demand rather than metal content alone. As the years passed, collectors began examining these coins more closely. What happened next shocked collectors. Specialists discovered important varieties, subtle differences in minting, and spectacular errors that transformed ordinary dollars into highly sought-after treasures. Auction houses started recording stronger prices for elite condition examples. Registry competition intensified. Suddenly, a coin that many Americans had ignored for decades became one of the most actively studied modern dollar series in the hobby. But the story is only beginning. In the next section, we'll examine the remarkable design of the 1979p Susan B. Anthony dollar before uncovering the rare mint errors, famous varieties, and tiny diagnostic details that separate an ordinary $1 coin from examples capable of attracting extraordinary collector attention. Next up, auction records and prices. Now comes the moment every collector waits for. After learning the history, studying the design, and examining the rare errors, the biggest question still remains: What is a 1942 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark actually worth today? The answer depends on one critical factor that surprises many people. It isn't just the date. It isn't simply the absence of a mint mark. It's the coin's condition, originality, eye appeal, and whether it has a genuine mint error or exceptional preservation. But here's where things get interesting. The Philadelphia Mint produced well over 650 million Lincoln wheat pennies in 1942, making the coin common in circulated grades. Millions entered everyday commerce during World War II, buying groceries, newspapers, and bus fares before disappearing into drawers, jars, and forgotten collections. Because of that enormous mintage, worn examples typically sell for only a few cents to a few dollars. Yet what happened next shocked collectors. A tiny percentage of these pennies somehow escaped circulation almost untouched. Hidden away in coin albums, bank vaults, or family collections, these pristine survivors became some of the most desirable examples of the issue. Today, professionally graded mint state coins with blazing original red color can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Certified examples, graded MS-66 red often realize several $100s at major auctions, while outstanding MS-67 red coins have brought several $1,000s when exceptional eye appeal, sharp strike, and flawless surfaces come together. Add a significant mint error, such as a dramatic off-center strike, broad strike, or major lamination error, and the value can climb even higher depending on rarity and collector demand. The value may leave you speechless because two pennies carrying the exact same date can differ in value by thousands of dollars simply because one remained untouched while the other spent decades in circulation. Most people never notice this, but collectors are willing to pay premiums for originality. A naturally toned coin with untouched surfaces is often worth far more than a cleaned example that appears unnaturally bright. Cleaning, polishing, or using chemicals may seem harmless, yet these actions permanently damage the surface and usually reduce collector value. Professional grading services carefully examine every detail, including color, strike quality, luster, and signs of alteration. This tiny detail could change everything because a genuine uncleaned coin has a much better chance of receiving a higher grade and attracting serious bidders. When exceptional examples appear at auction, competition can become intense as registry-set collectors pursue the finest known specimens. These collectors often seek the highest certified grades available, pushing prices far beyond what many casual collectors expect. That's why auction records continue to demonstrate that quality, not simply age, is the biggest driver of value. Collector demand. So why do collectors continue searching for a coin that was produced in such enormous numbers? The answer lies in history, nostalgia, and the endless challenge of finding extraordinary examples hiding among ordinary ones. The 1942 Lincoln wheat penny represents America during one of the most important periods in its history. As the nation entered World War II, these copper pennies circulated through factories, military towns, family businesses, and neighborhoods across the country. Every surviving coin carries a silent connection to that remarkable era. Collectors aren't simply buying copper, they're preserving a tangible piece of American history. But here's where things get interesting. Building a complete Lincoln wheat cent collection is one of the most popular goals in numismatics. Millions of collectors search for every date and mint combination, and although the 1942 Philadelphia issue isn't rare in circulated condition, finding one with exceptional strike, brilliant original red color, and flawless preservation becomes dramatically more difficult. Registry collectors compete fiercely for top-graded examples because only a handful achieve the highest certified grades. What happened next shocked collectors as population reports showed just how few pristine coins survived without fadding, spotting, cleaning, or contact marks. That scarcity fuels steady demand year after year. Another reason for strong collector interest is the possibility of discovering an overlooked mint error. Error coin specialists inspect thousands of 1942 cents looking for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds, lamination errors, repunched features, and other unusual mint-made characteristics. Most people never notice these tiny details because they require careful examination under magnification, but experienced collectors know that even subtle minting mistakes can transform an otherwise common coin into an exciting collectible. This possibility keeps treasure hunters searching through inherited collections, bank rolls, flea markets, estate sales, and old coin jars, hoping to uncover something extraordinary. Hidden details most people miss. Now let's reveal some of the fascinating secrets that often separate an ordinary 1942 wheat penny from one worthy of closer inspection. Most people immediately look at the date and then move on, never realizing that the most valuable clues are often hidden elsewhere. One of the first things experienced collectors examine is the coin's original mint luster. Genuine mint state examples display a flowing cartwheel effect that rotates across the surface when the coin is tilted under a light. If that luster has disappeared completely, the coin likely experienced circulation. If it remains vibrant and uninterrupted, you've found something worth investigating further. This tiny detail could change everything. Look closely at the color. Original Lincoln wheat pennies are often classified as brown, red-brown, or red. Coins retaining nearly all of their original red mint color are considerably scarcer than brown examples because copper naturally darkens over time. Even two coins with identical grades can have dramatically different values depending on their color designation. Most people never notice this difference, yet advanced collectors pay significant premiums for brilliant original red specimens. Another hidden clue is the sharpness of the strike. Examine Lincoln's beard, hair above the ear, coat lines, and the wheat kernels on the reverse. Strongly struck coins reveal crisp details that weaker strikes may lack. Although strike quality alone doesn't create rarity, superior examples are much more desirable among advanced collectors. At the same time, inspect the surfaces carefully for evidence of cleaning. Fine parallel hairlines, unnatural brightness, or an overly polished appearance often indicate that someone attempted to improve the coin years ago. Unfortunately, that usually lowers its value considerably. Finally, don't overlook the edge, weight, and overall appearance. A genuine 1942 Lincoln wheat penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams, measure 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and be composed of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc. Any significant deviation in weight or appearance deserves closer examination. While unusual measurements don't automatically indicate a rare error, they can sometimes point toward an off-metal strike or altered coin that warrants professional evaluation. Before celebrating a spectacular discovery, always compare your coin with verified examples and consider submitting valuable candidates to a reputable third-party grading service. The next coin hiding in your collection could look perfectly ordinary at first glance, but one overlooked detail might reveal a remarkable piece of numismatic history worth far more than a single cent.